Welcome to CATtheMinion Patreon. This is going to be the October deep dive astrological tarot reading for Scorpio. I'm going to be using my spread that's called Block Moguls. It's $37, but I'm using charms on it, so that would make it $44 if you were going to get your own reading of such. So we have Scorpio. So that's if it's your sun, moon, ascendant, Venus. If you're feeling Pluto retrograde, what else is going on? Perhaps any other transformative or death cycles that might be occurring. I don't detect much else going on with Scorpionic energy, but if you're feeling it or you're drawn to this, then this is the reading for you. I think Pluto's retrograde until October 4th, but I might be confusing it with the one that's going direct in November. But either way, it might be happening. So I've cleared and shuffled these decks. I've got my phrase deck that I made. I've got the Uno deck. I've got the Dreams of Gaia tarot. And I've got the Aquarian tarot. It seems like a weird assortment for Scorpionic energy, but these are the decks that I was called to use for this. So I'm gonna lay this spread out. I think I want to do it facing me. So, okay. So there's going to be, actually that needs to be in the challenge position. I'm going to have 4 columns, and it's going to be Wands, Cups, Swords, and then Pentacles. So we're dealing with this sort of core drive, core directive. Doesn't seem right. Your sort of core directive, your prime directive, your desire, and then your feelings, and then thoughts or communication, and then the material, which is either your body or resources or there's a double there, some kind of manifestation. So you see the 4 columns that I'm setting up here. Now there's going to be 3 rows as well. So in terms of the rows, this row that I've got here is like the 5D squared, which is like the higher self realm, but there's more. It's like if you go past your higher self into your soul group, or like a soul committee, like a soul family, where there's essentially a bunch of you that are in a similar vibration, like making a harmony, that have a similar task. And there's kind of an overall lesson plan, but you have freedom to do your own projects that satisfy the parameters. So when that happens, we come down through the middle section here that I'm starting to build right now, which is the 5D. This is your higher self, and this is where the moguls are. It's where the breakdown in the information chain happens, and what the, I'm gonna stack them this way. The third row is the physical world. This is like your day-to-day 3D life. So the middle part is sort of where your consciousness isn't quite picking up your directive. There's a disconnect, and it's going to help figure out what things are missing and that aren't quite making sense when you go about your daily life. Come on, cards. 2 here and 3 here. Okay, I guess there's supposed to be... I'm not feeling... It's the brown one. I think that's right. I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, the idea is to get an idea of what's holding up your progress. Sometimes it's as much as resting, other times it's refusing to see something. Sometimes I use these cards with reversals, and other times not so much. There's an interesting color palette going on here. Brown ones are a different texture. It's almost like a difference between like a paper bag and like a greeting card. Ooh. Alright. No, depending on what cards come out, I might have to get more Uno cards, but there should only be one for each thing. Now, I do have 4 decks here because I'm going to use the Dreams of Gaia as an Oracle deck, and there's going to be 1 card as like a wrap-up card. I think last time I did this, I tried to put the charms down first. There's a double there. I tried to put the charms down first. But I think I want to do them after this time. There was another one that flipped over in here. I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, and this is also a double. Okay, I guess it goes that way. Look at the other card here. Not quite. Wait for it to come out. Still wants to get stuck in my hand. There it is. Okay. Alright, I think I've got this pretty well set here and in the frame and focused to about here. So I'm going to go through and remember to do the charms here at some point. I'm going to go through this spread and it'll sort of be clear how it works as I go through it. So let's look at the Wands energy for this 5D squared, this sort of soul, higher soul committee. So we have the Chariot in the challenge position, so we have Cancerian energy here. Alright, it's like the idea is sort of movement, but it's difficult. Right? It's like hiking up Mount Everest with holy shoes on. It's gonna be a bit of a marathon, perhaps. And how that's coming down into... Now again, this is in the Wands energy, right? So the idea is that the directive is to deal with sort of arrested progress. Like, how does it feel to try to move forward when things aren't easy? So in the 3D world, in this gut area, we have a lot of feelings here. These are cups. So we have the 7 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. So interesting, we have a 7 and a 7. So we're picking up on this energy. We're feeling some kind of way about it. 7 of Cups is in this idea of distraction, confusion. A lot of people say it's options, but I don't think I've ever seen it that way personally. I mean, it could be. But it could just be obstacles, right? I'm driving my chariot around this obstacle course and I keep getting a traffic cone stuck in my wheel. There's something significant about the number 75 here. And I don't know what it is. It might be particular to somebody. So 7 of Cups is Venus in Scorpio. Now what's interesting is that Venus is currently in Leo. And then we have 5 of Cups, Mars in Scorpio. Okay, so I see what's happening. Mars is currently in Aries, and it's, as I'm recording this, in the beginning of September. But this is for October. So I believe that by October, Mars might still be retrograde in Aries. But nonetheless, both Venus and Mars are going to be in fire signs. And it's interesting because they're both in Scorpio here. And Scorpio is that Pluto energy. I think it's retrograde until October 4th, but possibly November. I'm not sure which date is which. One of them is Pisces and the other one is... one of them's Neptune and the other one's Pluto. But at least for part of October, Scorpio is still going to be retrograde. Pluto's still going to be retrograde. God damn it, I can't talk. Additionally, here I see 7, I see 5, I see 12 total. So we just have this sort of confusion, blockage, distraction, and then we have the woe is me card. Combined, we have this hanged man. Like, I don't know what to do. It's confusing. I'm sad. I'm just gonna sit and hang out for a while. I'm gonna park my car on the side of the road and take a nap and wait for something to come by, some information. But what's interesting is we still have this idea of some kind of movement and a pivot. Like, I'm trying to work my way through something. I need a minute. Alright, so let's see what the difference is here. Nurturing, take a week off, 40. Unexpected and silent movement, 43. So that breaks down to 7. Notice I got 4, and then I have 4 and 3. And then we have 25, which is a third. 3 times the 25 is the 75. Alright, so we have in disguise, hiding from persecution, hermit mode, and invisible. Okay, so some of this hanging out is actually going to be going within, trying to, again, like I said, movement and shift, but it's happening internally. Here it's in the feelings. And then 0 is that Fool energy. I'm going to do something new. I'm going to take a break for a minute. I'm going to let my car sit here on the side of the road so it doesn't overheat. And I'm trying to build some kind of new foundation. But we also have 4, which is the number of the Emperor, which is Aries energy. So it's sort of like this 5 and the 4 combined is giving that Hermit energy as well, which is Virgo, which is what energy we're in while I'm recording this. But it also has to do, Virgo is like the inner child of the Empress. And if we're dealing with Venus energy, then we're dealing with the Empress. And then if we're dealing with some kind of inner child level here, with these feelings and this deep dive, scorpionic, let's go into the underworld, I'm confused and I feel sort of ripped apart, and I need to to just sit and rest and like cuddle myself for a minute. So this Chariot in the challenge position is kind of the universal directive is to learn how to have progress without running around like a chicken with your head cut off. And also, additionally, we see 2 cards in Scorpio here, so Scorpio showing up in your own reading. I noticed that the 12 from the Hangman does break down to 3, which is that Empress number, which goes back to that Venus energy as well. Alright, so let's look at the emotional content here. So we have the Sun, 19, breaking down to 10. Now what's interesting is that this directive of sort of taking a break to refuel when you need to is in order that your emotional content is more balanced and has more strength and radiance, right? Because you're not going to put out much energy if you're running around with a low battery your whole life. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sunday's on the phone to Monday, Tuesday's on the phone with me. I can't remember the next lyric. Anyway, that's the Beatles. I was just thinking because in my music deck I have one of their songs on the Sun card. I think it's Good Day Sunshine is the one that I've got on there. Good day sunshine. Oh man, I don't need that whole song in my head right now. Okay, so the Sun. So we have Leo energy. And then Venus in Leo right now. At least for probably into October. I think the planets are there for a while. It's hard because I'm reading for almost a month ahead. And then so we have another 5 here. So both of these columns have a pivot. This is the 5 of Swords. So it's almost like the 3D is shifted out of phase slightly. Right? We have the Cups shifted over to Wands and the Swords shifted over to Cups. My feelings are all tangled up in my guts, and I'm in my head about my feelings. 5 of Swords is that mind games, mind fuck, last man standing kind of energy, but what's interesting is we have Venus in Aquarius. But we have Leo up top. Venus in Aquarius. Leo and Aquarius are opposite signs. So I almost feel like this is saying something about nodes, even though that currently the node we have Gemini and Sagittarius. And it's usually Cancer and Capricorn, although it could... Okay, so this is like a mirror world of the nodes. Right? Instead of going one way, now we're going the other way in the extreme. And I'm just saying the nodal energy because it's sort of... There's this idea of being kind of hanging in the balance of the world while it sort of spins around you, but at some point there's this idea that Leo and Aquarius are opposite each other, which is true in the way that time progresses. And Uranus is currently retrograde, even though this card is coming in upright. But what we have is sort of like distress in the 3D, with this idea of I'm moving, I'm pivoting, I'm trying to figure out what direction I'm going in, right? So I'm not going, like instead of going, like if I start out and my heading is Capricorn Cancer, well, do I want to pivot over to Sagittarius Gemini, or am I going to pivot over to Leo Aquarius? So it's like in the heart area, it's like I'm confused as to which path resonates with me in my heart. I can't quite figure it out. But there's this idea that there's illumination that's trying to come in from above to clear up these mind games. Are they poisonous? 187. My love will drown your soul. Number 3. Hold it for a minute. 65. Okay. Now what's interesting is that we have confusion. I need to figure it out. And then this idea of love, an emotional thing happening in the emotions column. Right, so 8 and 7 breaks down to 15. That's devil energy. But if I add the 1 that brings it to the tower, which is fire energy, Mars. Then we have this Empress number. And then we have 65, which breaks down to 11, which is a universal timing number, which is interesting because the universe has already said to slow down for a second. Right? But this idea of trying to find the right path is like, if I touch this, is it going to hurt me? Is it going to be too much? Like, I'm not sure how to feel about nurturing. You know, it's like, there's a song, I think it's Queen, it's called Too Much Love Will Kill You, but I don't know how it goes. So it's this idea about being a little bit gun shy and needing to figure something out. Oh, this looks better this way. Hold it for a minute. Are they poisonous? My love will drown your soul. I want to clarify the My Love Will Drown Your Soul card. I'm going to get another card. Because the other 2 cards make sense compared to what's going on already. It's like something doesn't sit right here. I think there's a certain path that's trying to mess me up. It's trying to screw with my head. Right? It's like maybe I'm being told that somebody loves me, but the result is that it doesn't. I don't feel love. I feel like I'm being played, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be eating these things that I'm allergic to. All right, so this fell on the floor. This sounds too good to be true. So this is 94 breaking down to a 13. So that does go in line with what I just said. You know, if we combine this and this, I'm getting the tower again. But if I combine the tower with this 3 over here, I've got 2 towers, and then if I go 3, then I get the sun. So this idea of sort of, if it resonates with your heart, then it will be the right thing. But you need to slow down for a minute, hold it for a minute, sit with the energy. Does it radiate? Does it resonate? Does it fill you with any warmth? If not, then you know it's a bunch of crap. Okay. So, just a sip of water, then we'll get into the thoughts and perceptions. So the 5 of Rods in the challenge position. Saturn in Leo. Now, Saturn is going direct in Capricorn at the end of September. So right before the October reading would start. And then Venus is going to be in Leo. Now what I'm seeing here is it's sort of thinking about the end of conflict, right, which is coming off of this emotional thing. The directive is to and notice we have 7 and 5 up here, 7 and 5 down here in the emotional sector, well, in the directive, but it's coming in through the emotional center. It's picking up this 5 and this 7 from up here. You need to shift out of conflict. It could be internal conflict or conflict with other people, or conflict in listening to your own heart about what's being thrown at you, either by other people or from the world, right? I don't want to live in this, mental confusion. I'm constantly at war in my thoughts, which is coming up here and here. But what I do see is paper. I don't have any paper. Well, I'm seeing this energy when I have a pentagram in this position and I draw a point at the bottom, that tells me Venus. If I turn this around and the point is now in that sort of crown position, it tells me the devil, Saturn energy. So there's a little bit of an energy balance with the number 5 that goes into both the Empress and Saturn. But what's interesting is that the Empress number is 3, and then you take that pentagram representing Venus and you multiply it, you get 15, which is the devil number, which is Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. So so with this in this challenge position here, it's like the difference between them, what's happening here is that we're trying to shift from being bound and stuck in this confusion and conflict and unhappiness to being able to nurture and grow in our own life. Now in the 3D, it's coming in with wands, with the 7 from over here. 7 of wands inverted. So now we have Mars in Leo. So here's Mars retrograde, and the Leo energy going back to the Empress. We have 7 and 5 again. 7, 5, 7, 5, a 5, and then 7, 5, 5, 7. What's interesting is that the difference between them is 6, which is a balance point, which would be, potentially like an open heart moment. 7 of wands inverted is like saying, I'm laying down arms, I'm going to open up, I'm going to stop. It's not like I'm no longer standing up for myself, it's I'm no longer putting up a wall to be standoffish. I'm going to let down my guard a little bit. But you would have to do if you're going to end conflict, you have to let down your guard a little bit. Alright, so let's see what's happening in between. Okay, so I'm not sure what you're getting at. 177. Are you there? Please talk to me. 458. And then take a well-deserved rest. So again, this idea of rest. Now, this is 426. I feel like it's kind of like the person, well, it is the person talking to their higher self, because right here is the higher self realm, right? I'm not quite sure how to go about, you know, letting go of having this hard protective shell around myself. I don't know how to do this. I'm in the hangman energy, I'm confused. But here we have 17, the star, plus another 7, the chariot. But it also breaks back down to 15, that devil energy, that Saturn energy. Are you there? Please talk to me. So I see 5 and 8, that's 13. That's that scorpionic death number transformation with a 4, which could be the Emperor, that Aries energy, or foundational number, because we're in wands over here in the thoughts. But it breaks back down, 9 and 8, 17. That's the star energy, that's Aquarius. So we're dealing with these alternating energies of Capricorn, Aquarius, and Leo inside the Scorpionic theater. And then we have take a well-deserved rest. Well, I don't know what to do now that I'm not, you know, constantly at war with myself. Well, if you're not constantly scrambling and you've been doing it the whole time, you might be tired. Take a rest, and once you're rested, then you'll be able to see things a little more clearly. You won't be as anxious. Your nervous system will have a chance to recover. So we have 4 and 2 and 6. So I see 4, the Emperor, 2, the High Priestess, breaking down to 6. So we have 6, the Lovers, which is healing, duality, a choice, and then another 6, combining again into this Hanged Man energy. So take a rest. Don't worry about it. You'll get more downloads after you've been swinging on the tree for a minute, letting the blood rush to your head. 17, 12, and 15. What's interesting is that the 15 does break down into 6. 17 breaks down to 8. Which is strength or justice. Although this case probably strength, because we have Leo up here. And then the 12 breaks down to 3, which is that Empress number again. So I have 6 and 3 is 9, and 8 goes back to 17, which feeds back into that star energy loop again. Okay, so we do have this idea of some kind of new growth, a new star to follow, a new new star to follow after this sort of tower breakdown of this constant internal struggle. So let's see how it's supposed to be manifesting. Let's look at the manifestation over here. So we have Judgment in reverse and the 10 of Cups in reverse, which is interesting because we have completion and then this double completion here, but neither one of them is happening. But this is the directive that's coming down. In the manifestation, it's like, okay, the final chapter of the book is going to be left open. This is Pluto energy. So we have a retrograde. 10 of Cups, Mars in Pisces. Right. The chapter of the way that you manifest is open. The unhappiness that's been manifest is sort of like up to you, but it's also saying that there's a completion happening too. But it breaks down to 30, which is like a new beginning and the Empress. Which is interesting, but what's happening here is Mars in Pisces, so we have 2 retrogrades here. And it's almost like saying that during the month of October, these things are open-ended in terms of manifestation. But it doesn't mean that they're not going to happen. The cards are in the right place, but there's still retrograde energy. right? We're driving the car in reverse. But let's see how it's coming in the 3D. So we have the Ace of Wands in the challenge position, right? I'm having a hard time grabbing hold of my directive. I can't seem to get my car started. And then we have what's here is the Queen of Pentacles showing up in the manifestation, right? So we're in the right column here. The only card essentially in the right column in the 3D. And we have a 13 or a 1 here, which is transformation, death, scorpionic energy, Pluto again. But what is she? She has Sagittarius and Capricorn energy. Alright, so Jupiter is in Capricorn right now. And I think she's harnessing that energy. As of this recording, it's retrograde, but it's going to be direct by before October. And because in the Uno deck, the queens are skip cards, I kind of get this idea of like trying to skip a step in manifestation is like that meme where the guy sticks the stick in his tire and then his bike falls over. But again, this idea of your luck is about to transform in reality. What do we got here? I'm crushed by the weight of not feeling good enough, 47. My mantra begins, number 1. I was wrong to avoid you, 295. Okay, so this goes in the middle. I'm crushed by the weight of not feeling good enough. I was wrong to avoid you. My mantra begins. So notice I have a 1 here, and it's combining both this green energy and this number 1 here. So I almost feel like this is the Magician. Like I'm going to nurture myself and hold it for a minute and take a break, right? I'm avoiding you. I'm trying to skip steps. 295. So I have 11 and 5, that's 16, that's another tower, but then I have 11 here. So I have 11, 11, a 5, and a 1. Right, so I'm getting this universal timing, but I'm also getting a pivot. 11 is 2. This breaks down to 16, the tower 7, and 1. So this all breaks down to 10, 10 of cups, this completion here. Alright, so I don't feel good enough. 5 of cups, 5 of swords. I'm crushed. That's the tower. And then avoiding is I'm avoiding you is kind of like avoiding your own needs. Like I need nurturing, I need rest, I need to think about things, I need to take a minute. But I'm trying to skip that because I want to, like, burn the whole house down and get going. And in terms of manifestation, you can't really skip steps. You have to go through and sort of be in tune with yourself with this mantra and to sort of emanate this energy in your heart center of what you want in order to get it to come around. So I'll do the charms first and then I'll flip over this card. So right away I see the rainbow landing on unexpected and silent movement. And I see the rainbow over here, and this was kind of like this, and this was upside down. So I see this as mirroring this way over here. Like this, the brilliance coming in after the rain. and there's going to be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But right next to it, I also have the crystal ball. It's giving me a little bit of Three of Wands energy. It's like I can see in the future that I will be able to have this rainbow, but maybe not this month if I'm still trying to skip steps in manifestation. Now over here, I have this feminine here, Venus energy, and the key going the other way. Landing on this sounds too good to be true, right? This is not the key to my nurturing and abundance if it's a bunch of crap. Now on hold it for a minute, kind of near the sun, I have this thermometer, but I just saw this penguin over here, right? I have a penguin, I have temperature, and then I have a pigeon. And it says hold it for a minute. It's like I need to figure out, I need to gauge the temperature of the situation. I need to figure out if it, like, is this cold or is it hot? You know? It's like, am I going into Antarctica or am I going into New York City? You know, what kind of moochy, ground hopping bird am I gonna feed with my energy depending on where I need to go? Hopefully that makes sense. Now the pigeon doesn't have to be necessarily a trash chicken. It could be like a turtle dove bringing in emotional content or a peace. And the penguin isn't necessarily just a clumsy, flightless dumbass. It's very capable of swimming and diving deep into emotional content, but also exists by having rapid growth once they're in, like, once the egg hatches, once that 0 point happens, there's rapid growth and then this emotional dive. So there's that aspect as well. Now over here on this Seven of Wands inverted, I have the dragon going the other way, which is basically just kind of reiterating, okay, I'm going to turn my flame off and not roast everybody that comes near me. Now on my mantra begins, I have the record player, right? I'm going to sort of repeat these affirmations to myself, or kind of tell the universe what it is that I really want. What you really, really want. So are you there? I have a sugar bowl and the yin yang. Alright, it's like if I overdose on things that seem sweet, I'm gonna throw up. And I want some balance. I want a salty, sweet snack that's going to give me the energy to go where I need to be. Are you there? Please talk to me. I need some balance in my life. Now over here, kind of in the middle, I've got this icosahedron. Right? I'm trying to expand my scope while having enough structure. So take a well-deserved rest. So I've got a narwhal, I've got a chalet, I've got the Kama Sutra. Interesting. I get this idea of like I'm going on a ski vacation and it's gonna be really sexy. Alright, whatever floats your boat there. Now going the other way, I have this swan. I have the stick of fork in me, I'm done. And what's this? The watch? Okay. I get like not on my watch. Right. You're gonna punch into that time clock until you're fucking dead. But also this swan going the other way tells me I've been avoiding my emotional needs. So now I need to rest. So that's all the charms that flopped out. And let's see what this wrap-up card is. Alright, so we have the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Earth. So this is looking a lot like... Okay, Well, the Three of Pentacles is usually building a cathedral, but instead of building the bottom floor of a cathedral, this guy here is planting acorns with his little squirrel buddy. His cathedral is going to be an oak tree. It's going to give life back by creating more oxygen out of carbon monoxide. Right? I'm manifesting from the ground up, one step at a time. It's going to take me a while to get my tree growing bigger, but I'm gonna carefully and delicately plant these. It looks like he's bleeding into it as well. Like, it looks like he cut his hand and he's bleeding into it to, like, seal the foundation of the tree with his own essence, which is kind of creepy. But I also see it's kind of like a, whatever the male version of a dryad would be. And he's building his own home. Like, he's manifesting his own security. Right? I'm gonna build myself a new house. It's like, I'm not going to stay in I'm not gonna stay in this crusty chalet with stains all over the mattress from 40 other people. I'm going to, you know, build my own house and get a nice, clean, fresh bed, and so I can get some decent sleep. So I have the energy to go plant some more trees. You know, and grounding, I'm getting in tune with nature. So what we have here is actually Mars in Capricorn, which is interesting because those energies kept popping up. And Mars energy is actually tied to a fixed point, and then it's something that expands in a certain vector. So the idea of planting a tree, we're anchoring it into the ground, but it's going to have this expansion, is kind of exactly what Mars energy does. And we have this sort of springtime event here, which is also very Martian because it's Aries energy. So it's like, this is the prelude to foundation here. Alright, so this is what's at play for the Scorpionic energy that I'm picking up for October. This is a Block Moguls reading. It's $37 or $44 if you add the charms. What else am I gonna say? If you want to get a personal reading, I can move Fred out of the way. Fred, get the fuck out of the way. Alright. Alas, Fred was actually holding up the sign. There. Alright. Alright, if you want to get a personal reading, you can... There we go. You can hit me up, thecatcamebackatcamp@gmail.com. The list of readings that I offer and how much they cost are in the description box of my infomercial video, which I'm going to link below here. If you're seeing this, you're already on Patreon, and I want to thank you so much for that. If you want to continue contributing to my work, you can hit that tip jar, paypal.me/CATtheMinion. I also have Cash App and Venmo. Got prints and merch and coloring books and a poetry book of Dark Night of the Soul kind of stuff. If you're here on Patreon, you may have already seen the link to my catalog. So I've got made-to-order items, those chapbook packs, and singular pieces. So if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube at large, you can head over there and like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.